So in today's world, there's just data everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Collecting it is one thing, but making sense of it all, moving it, that's the real challenge.
Absolutely. It's a torrent.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we want to, cut through some of the complexity around two big names in data integration, Azure Data Factory, ADF, and Azure Databricks.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission, figure out what they actually do, what makes them unique, and importantly, where they kind of overlap. The idea is to help you figure out which one might be the better fit for your specific data puzzles.
Yeah, and it's key to say up front, both ADF and Databricks are really powerful tools, seriously capable.
Right.
They can handle all sorts of data, big data, structured stuff, unstructured files, batch processing, even real-time streaming data. It's usually not about one being better overall.
It's more about the right tool for the job.
Exactly. It's about understanding their specific strengths and where they shine.
Okay, let's get into that then. We're talking huge amounts of information. So Azure Data Factory, or ADF, it's like core identity here.
Well, ADF is primarily an orchestration tool. Think of it that way.
Orchestration.
Yeah. It's really designed for ELT processes. That's extract, load, and then transform.
Okay.
So ADF is like the director of your data pipelines. It helps you build these flows to move data between different places, maybe from your own servers, your on-premise systems, up into the cloud, or just moving it between different spots within the cloud efficiently. And it's known for being pretty user-friendly, especially if you've ever used SSIS.
Ah, SQL Server Integration Services. Yeah, familiar ground for many.
Right. ADF often uses a visual drag and drop interface, a GUI, which makes building those pipelines more intuitive for some folks.
Got it. So ADF is the data mover, the orchestrator, great for ELT, visual interface, sets the stage. Okay, so then where does Azure Databricks come in? How does it change the game for actually, working with the data?
Good question. So if ADF sets the stage, Databricks is where the main performance happens, maybe. It really excels as a platform for big data analytics, heavy-duty stuff.
Right, the number crunching.
Exactly. It's built on top of Apache Spark. And Spark is just incredibly fast and efficient because it processes data in memory, distributed across many machines. It's tailor-made for handling truly massive data sets.
Okay.
It's also particularly strong with streaming data that's coming in constantly. And you usually interact with it using notebooks, like in a web browser, or through command line tools.
So less drag and drop, more code-oriented.
Often, yes, though notebooks can be quite visual too. And Databricks typically handles the ETL pattern extract, transform, then load. The complex data shaping happens before it lands in its final destination.
ETL versus ELT. That's a key difference in approach then. So ADF for movement and orchestration, ELT, Databricks for the deep processing and analytics, ETL. But you said they overlap. Where do their paths cross?
Yeah, they definitely do overlap. Despite having different primary jobs, ADF orchestrating and Databricks analyzing, and different ways people tend to build things, GUI versus code, they operate in a lot of the same territory.
How so?
Well, both can absolutely handle large data volumes. We're talking medium data, big data, doesn't matter much.
Okay.
Both are comfortable with different speeds of data, big batches processed overnight, or continuous streams hitting them second by second. Data velocity, check.
Right.
And crucially, data variety. Both can work with structured data from databases, semi-structured like JSON, or completely unstructured stuff like text files or images.
So volume, velocity, variety. They both cover that ground. So how do they work together typically?
That's often the key. You might use ADF to pull data from, say, a dozen different sources and land it efficiently into cloud storage. That's the E and L of ELT.
Okay, ADF gets the data there.
Exactly. Then you might trigger a Databricks job, maybe even orchestrated by ADF, to pick up that data, run complex transformations, machine learning models, whatever analytics you need. That's the T and ETL happening in Databricks. Then Databricks loads the results.
So they complement each other. ADF handles the logistics, Databricks does the heavy thinking.
That's a very common pattern, yes. They often form parts of a larger end-to-end solution. Partners, not just alternatives.
Makes sense. Okay, so to wrap this up, we've looked at Azure Data Factory and Azure Databricks. ADF stands out as that robust orchestrator, great for ELT, moving data, often with a GUI, familiar territory for SSIS users. And Azure Databricks is the powerhouse for big data analytics, using Spark for speed, especially strong on streaming, access via notebooks or command line, often handling ETL.
Precisely. And remember, while they have those distinct focuses and interfaces, they share that common ground handling big, fast, varied data, often working hand in hand.
So, thinking about all this, here's something for you, the listener, to consider. As you look at your own data challenges, how does knowing these nuances, knowing when to use ADF, when to use Databricks, or maybe how to use them together, how does that not just streamline your operations, but maybe fundamentally change the kinds of questions you can ask and the insights you can actually discover?